Greetings, earthlings! Welcome to Season 3 of Urban Nerd Weekly. Today is Tuesday, June the 4th, and it's the very first episode of the new season. So thanks for tuning in, guys. On today's Nerd News Update, we got some news on the official death of iTunes. Kwahi Leonard is going up against Nike over his claw logo. Major movie production studios are threatening to pull out of Georgia if the heartbeat law stays into effect. And plus, we got news on rappers Jay-Z, Drake, and Meek Mill. Today's digital download is jam-packed full of video games. So tune in, nerd out to today's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly.
Hey, it's your boy Spreaker, man. I got a new podcast out I want y'all to subscribe to, bro. It's called Urban Nerd Weekly, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music. My
Back up in the shit. How you snacking, couple bitch? I'm about to hit the stick, so go and follow me on Twitch. Now watch me. Crank that herb, now watch me. Crank that herb, watch me. Crank that herb, now watch me. Crank that herb.
Yeah, what's happening? It's your boy Spaceman. Welcome to Season 3 of Urban Nerd Weekly, guys. I'm so glad you guys decided to keep tuning in and nerding out with your boy, man. We are back at it again, back snacking again. If you haven't heard that yet, make sure you go check that out on my SoundCloud. Space was here. Yeah, that's my new parody. Anyway, welcome to Season 3, guys. I'm so glad. Like I said, I'm overhyped right now. I actually already had recorded part of this episode before just now, but I was so hungry. I sounded so fucking still, so I started the whole thing over. I wanted to make sure I was live like always for you guys, especially since y'all riding with me on into the new season. Like I said, man, thanks for joining. Today's episode is going to be packed with a good bit of information. We got a huge nerd news update today. Not a huge digital download, but the nerd news update is so big it's going to make a 4+. You know, we're going to be talking a little bit later on about, you know, the future efforts of MIDI Space, as well as the show. As well as, you know, how things have been going and as far as my move back to the city. But first things first, before I get into all my plugs, first things first, I want to send a rest in peace to someone, a nerd in peace to someone by the name of Christian Maloney. Now, this comes from Miss Nano Kitty, and she said, "Hey guys, I'm sorry I couldn't make the show personally to dedicate this moment. However, I had been seeing on Facebook from my friends that a guy had passed away. I didn't recognize his picture until I saw his actual name be tagged. So, rest in peace, rest easy, Chris Maloney. You was a real sweet guy. From our limited interactions, and this don't do anything but prove that there's not enough time to say what you want to say to who you want to say it to if you care about them." Very, very sweet message from Miss Nano Kitty. And just to put things into a little context, Christian Maloney is he's actually a West Georgia University student, which if you guys familiar with me, you guys know that's the college that I attended for the time that I was in college. So, you know, I definitely felt some type of way upon checking out this story. According to WSB-TV, aka Channel 2 and shit, search crews recovered the body of a missing college student in the Chattahoochee River Thursday afternoon. Christian Maloney, and yes, my last name is Malone, his is Maloney, it's no relation. However, we do have the same initials. Christian Maloney, 23, had been missing since Tuesday when he and some friends went to Acres Mill Trail to jump off of a popular diving rock. After Maloney jumped, witnesses said he called out for help and then went under, and he never resurfaced. Damn. Crews searched for him for days before recovering a body Thursday. Police have not officially identified the body, but Maloney's mother told Channel 2's Audrey Washington that police told her it was her son. Maloney was a student at the University of West Georgia. Kona Maloney says her son knew how to swim, but around 5 p.m. the day he disappeared, the dam was open, causing the water under the surface to speed up, and she believes that her son got caught up in the fast-moving undercurrent. His two friends were able to swim safely. She said her goal now is to warn others of the dangers. They say there are so many drownings out here every year. Why? There's got to be something that we can do to keep people from coming out here drowning. She said it's too doggone dangerous. Kona Maloney says she wants signs put up in the area warning about the changes in current when the dam is opened. Which I think that's some pretty legit shit. She should definitely they should definitely do that. I'm so sorry to hear this. Nerd in peace, Chris Maloney. I hope there's a PlayStation, in the great beyond for you to be able to enjoy, for eternity, man. So on a lighter note, before we get into today's digital download, I just want to remind everybody about our social media page. Please check out the Urban Nerd Weekly Facebook and Instagram page, Urban Nerd Weekly or / Urban Nerd Weekly, whichever one you got to type in to find us. Please like it and follow. Please like on Facebook and follow on Instagram so you guys can get all the newest updates on the show. We're working on, keeping everything more updated, more swiftly. And just as I'm saying this, I'd like to give a shout out to Bobby Abercrombie as well as Greg Love for showing so much nerd love all over season 2, man. Like, you guys were two huge listener fans. Like, you guys liking and subscribing, you involved in the show a little bit more than everybody. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a not nerd news, the official Urban Nerd Weekly shout out, and thank you for that. And just to give everybody a context, I've known these guys for a minute, so I was very excited that they took to the show so hard. Like, when I started coming back with it and everything, and especially with Bobby Abercrombie, he's actually, this guy, he's a really cool guy, man. He's going to actually be a guest on the show later on this season, and I'll also be a guest on his show when he relaunches his podcast a little later on this year. So you guys make sure you be looking out for that, man. As far as me, you guys can always find me on the big three, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Space Was Here, SPAYCEWUZHERE. And if you take the add away and add a .com to that is my website, spacewashere.com. You can sign up on the email list, as well as check out the blog that's got all of my latest little videos, skits, parodies, as well as other episodes of Urban Nerd Weekly. If you're having a hard time finding them, or if you don't have time to subscribe, you just want to cruise on the website, make sure you guys join the email list. Like I said, keep you updated on everything. I know everybody's kind of busy. You don't always have time to be getting on Facebook for 3 hours and then go on SoundCloud for another 2. So, if you want to just get a little localized way to get all my newest content, please sign up on the email list. Don't forget to subscribe to the show if you do have, if you're into podcasts, and I'm not the only podcast you listen to. I understand. I have no hard feelings. We don't have to be exclusive. I do love you, though. But if you are a podcast listener and you listen to multiple podcasts, or you just, you have an iPhone or an Android and it's just easier for you that way, you guys can always check me out on Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spreaker, as well as TuneIn and many other podcast platforms. Will be coming soon to Spotify and iHeartRadio. So you guys, if you listen on there, be ready to hear me up on there soon. And making sure you guys like and rate, and you know what I'm saying, give all that positive feedback that makes our show cool, so we can rise to the top. And then when everybody's like, who is this show? What is this Urban Nerd Weekly shit? I can tell them, gang, bitch, nerd, drip or drown, motherfucker. We deep in these internet streets, these virtual streets. And before I move on too far, I'd like to remind you guys, like I said, I got a new parody out called Back Snacking Again. It's the parody to Back at It Again by rapper Yella Beezy, featuring Quavo and Gucci Mane. Y'all can find it on my SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com /Space Was Here, and it'll also be on my website, of course, spacewashere.com. So if you guys want to check it out, head on over to that SoundCloud, stream one good time, tell me what you think, man. Tell me if it's funny. I gotta, once the song gets like 1,000 plays or something, then we're gonna put the video out. It's gonna be epic shit. So make sure y'all get them play counts up if y'all want to see the video, man. Spread the word. And that's all I got on my plugs. This season I'm doing this shit a little bit different. I'm getting all the plugs out of the way at the beginning of the show, so I don't have to keep on going in between segments to tell you guys this stuff. Y'all know I'm gonna say it every episode, so I get out the way at the beginning. And plus, if we do have new listeners, they can go ahead and take this time where I'm rambling to go ahead and follow or whatever you're gonna do while I'm plugging, if you're gonna do it. And not to mention, give you time to keep listening while I segment my way over here here into the next new thing we're gonna do. Like, it's not new. It's not new. We just shifting around I'm just shifting around the order in which I do things. I usually do my nerd news update first, but I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the digital download right quick because it's a little smaller and it's a little easier to go and get out the way before I get into the nerd news update, which might take a second. So in today's digital download, only have some releases in the video game section. Sorry, music and movies, and it's a Tuesday. It's the beginning of summer. Everybody's probably just trying to chill out for a minute before everybody gets it popping. Some people looking for them summer jobs so they can figure out how they're gonna spend their money. So I get it. Plus video games, you can pretty much put them out anytime, even though they are starting to come out a little heavier. I've noticed as the episodes progressing, the season has changed. I'm seeing more and more video games coming out each month, so it's crazy. Coming out today, we have The Elder Scrolls Online, Elsewhere, available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Persona Q2, New Cinema Labyrinth, is for Nintendo 3DS. Trevor Saves the Universe is available on PC. I know I said on the last episode of Season 2, Trevor Saves the Universe came out on 30, but that was on different systems. This one was just the PC version. And I didn't really realize this until the last couple of digital downloads with some of these video games, because I be saying some of them twice and I be feeling crazy, and then I realize, some of them come out in certain systems on one day and in other systems on the other day. So this is the PC version of Trevor Saves the Universe, as well as Warhammer Chaos Bane, and it is available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, in today's nerd news update, we got a little bit of, so first, we're going to start off with the iTunes shit, because, we've been talking a couple months, of course, y'all been hearing me go from saying subscribe on iTunes to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, and, that is because iTunes is kind of getting the axe, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like today is that day. You ever just get on the internet and it's just like, oh, this shit is for real? So like, this is basically what's going on. Okay, according to BGR.com, which I think is one of them tech sites. I like to cite I'm doing a better job at citing the websites that I'm looking at on this season too, because I don't want to discredit people. I don't want to not acknowledge. I was raised in the language arts era of MLA format where we cite all of our references. Even though I got a 72 in the class that taught me that. Anyway, Apple, according to BGR.com, Apple isn't really killing iTunes. Here's what's going on. Apple made it official today during the iPhone makers' annual developer conference in San Jose, California. After 18 years, the company is finally breaking up the iconic entertainment hub known as the iTunes Store that had been the gateway to first music and then movies, TV shows, and more from Apple device owners. If you paid attention to tech news headlines today, or really for the past day or so, you might have seen a version of this announcement that Apple basically is killing iTunes. That's sort of right, but also sort of wrong. Here's what's really happening. All right, this is what I want to know. With the arrival of iOS 13 this fall, there will still be a dedicated iTunes Store app on your iOS device. An Apple spokesperson confirmed to me. Well, not to me, but this is the person. The author of this article is Andy Meek. So when you hear me say me up until the end of this, it's Andy Meek. I meant to say that first too. That's why we do so many seasons a year, because I want you guys to see constant improvement in the show. So like I said, Andy Meek for BGR.com is writing this article. You'll be able to purchase, wait a minute. With the arrival, okay, hold on. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. With the arrival of iOS 13 this fall, there will be a dedicated iTunes Store app on your iOS device. An Apple spokesperson confirmed to me you'll still be able to purchase and download music there to own if you want to actually own the tunes and not merely stream them through Apple's music app. You'll also still be able to buy and rent movies and TV shows through that iTunes App Store app, in addition to being able to do so through Apple's TV app. Likewise, you'll still be able to use iTunes Store gift cards to make those purchases we've just described. Now let's talk about the arrival of Mac OS Catalina this fall. iTunes on the desktop rather than being killed per se, is instead transitioning to dedicated apps for Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple Podcast. I was told after Apple's WWDC 2019 event that Mac users will still be able to essentially access the iTunes Music Store from within the desktop music app. Users will also be able to buy movies and TV shows from within the Apple TV app. If you want to download and own your music, the iTunes Music Store will be accessible from an improved desktop sidebar. More importantly, all the iTunes-related purchases and libraries you've built up over the years, they'll now be found within each app on the Mac, depending what kind of content it is. This evolution of iTunes away from one-stop desktop experience had been expected for a while now, especially as Apple has put more emphasis on the subscription offerings like the streaming Apple Music service. Users had also clamored for more simplicity as iTunes became feature-laden and a bit bloated in the years since its launch back in 2001. Apple walked through the changes today during the Worldwide Developers Conference as part of a larger unveiling of iOS 13, the next iteration of its mobile operating software, which is coming this fall. As well as walk through here, iOS 13 will include a number of enhancements like a new dark mode, plus a more natural Siri voice, as well as giving users more control over how their location is shared when apps request that data among other changes. So that's that. And like I said, Andy Meek for RBG.com is where I got that little info at. So basically they're saying they're not killing it. They're not all the way getting rid of it. They just giving it a dramatic shift, which I know it makes me sound like grandpa. Like, and I get it. I'm getting close to 30. I don't like that shit is just like changing too much. Like, I mean, I do, it's cool, but it's so hard to get used to. Like, I don't know how to operate this shit. Plus, I have an iPod and a MacBook. So it's like, I gotta, like I'm used to getting on my computer and making my playlist. Cause I don't use Apple Music. I'm still one of those people. I'd rather download and own the song, like have the song on, like, cause I like to be able to listen to my music without the internet. Internet is expensive. I don't have an unlimited plan on my phone. I don't have that, one of those things where you can have Wi-Fi everywhere. And then plus, I don't want to have that really. I like to download and have a playlist that I made on my device and, all that stuff. So I'm sure, Apple's pretty good about keeping things user-friendly. I just get really rigid about whatever changes whenever they announce a change they're making. Ever since Steve Jobs died, I just feel like it's it could go either way. So hopefully, the usability won't be affected too much. We could still I could still enjoy it. From what I could tell, most Apple users are pretty stoked that this is going on. So I'm not trying to be just going against the grain for no reason. It's just that Apple, iTunes and most Apple products, as far as how you get the content, has just been the same for so long. I really just kind of shook up because even when I say subscribe to Apple Podcasts, I have to say it and remember when I'm saying it not to say the word iTunes, because it's different. And I think the links still work, and them gift cards better fucking work, because I've already bought gift cards to give away from season 3, and them shit say iTunes on it, so the motherfuckers better work, or else I'm be asking for refunds out the ass, Apple. And y'all gonna pay me, bitch, because I'm raising hell if y'all don't. Just to let you guys know, my second Red Bull of the day, and that might be the reason I turned all the way up about that. However, I do feel that strong about it. I just normally wouldn't have expressed it so vividly. In other news, here in my home state of Georgia, Hollywood big-time production companies have been threatening to pull productions in Georgia over the proposed heartbeat anti-abortion bill. According to CNBC.com, a number of prominent Hollywood studios have said this week that they will reconsider filming their projects in Georgia if the heartbeat law is enacted. The law is scheduled to go into effect in January if it survives a legal challenge filed by the ACLU. While several companies said they respect due process and will wait to make official moves until the legal disputes have ended, others have made it clear that filming in Georgia would cease. Major film and media companies from Disney to Netflix have broken their silence about Georgia's anti-abortion law. A number of prominent Hollywood studios have said this week that they will reconsider filming their projects in the state if the heartbeat law stands up to legal challenges and goes into effect in January 2020. Many feel it will violate Roe v. Wade, the 1973 landmark Supreme case that protects a woman's right to an abortion up until when the fetus is viable. Georgia's law seeks to ban almost all abortions as it states that no fetus can be aborted if it has a heartbeat, something that occurs as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy, often before a woman knows that she's even pregnant. While several companies said that they respect due process and will wait to make official moves until the legal disputes have ended, others have made it clear that filming in Georgia would cease entirely. That could have a big impact on the industry. Currently, the film industry adds about $9.5 billion to Georgia's economy. Studios are unlikely to have to take action for years as the bill is held up in court. Here are how major Hollywood companies have responded. Netflix says, "We have many women working on productions in Georgia whose rights, along with millions of others, will be severely restricted by this law. That's why we will work with the ACLU and others to fight it in court. Given the legislation has not yet been implemented, we'll continue to film here, while also supporting partners and artists who choose not to. Should it ever come into effect, we'd rethink our entire investment in Georgia," says Ted Sarandos, Chief Content Officer of Netflix. Disney CEO Bob Iger said it would be very difficult to film in Georgia if the abortion law is implemented. I rather doubt we will, Iger said in an interview with Reuters. Ahead of the dedication for the new Star Wars section in Disneyland, I think many people who work for us will not want to work there and will have to heed their wishes in that regard. Right now, we are watching it very carefully. If the law takes effect, I don't see how it's practical for us to continue to shoot there, he added. NBC Universal, we fully expect that the heartbeat bills and similar laws in various states will face serious legal challenges and will not go into effect while the process proceeds in court. If any of these laws are upheld, it would strongly impact our decision making on where we produce our content in the future. Warner Media, we operate and produce work in many states and within several countries at any given time, and while that doesn't mean we agree with every position taken by a state or a country and their leaders, we do respect due process. We will watch the situation closely, and if the new law holds, we will reconsider Georgia as the home to any new productions. As is always the case, we will work closely with our production partners and talent to determine how and where to shoot any given content. AMC Network says if this highly restrictive legislation goes into effect, we will reevaluate our activity in Georgia. Similar bills, some even more restrictive, have passed in multiple states and have been challenged. This is likely to be a long and complicated fight, and we're watching it very closely. So, it's just company after company after company after company. Just, just STX Entertainment, Viacom, Sony, CBS, Showtime, AMC Networks. Like I said, Warner Media, NBC Universal, Disney, and Netflix. Like, these are all top companies in that field, people. And, they like, hey, basically, if women can't get abortions in y'all state, we gonna have to stop filming there. Because, we make movies. We do a lot of fucking. We need certain bills in place. Now, if you want to know my personal opinion, I've always felt like it's a woman's right to choose. Like, honestly, I don't make babies. I thank Jesus and his Father every day. I'm not a part of the section of the human race that has to make the babies. Cause it looks that's not for me. I'm a guy. I don't want to have a baby. And I don't think that we should even have an opinion about whether or not women should be, like, in all honesty, this shouldn't even really be on the news. This should be, the two different groups of women who have opposing views on this issue should be totally battling this out on their own without any male interjection whatsoever. And whatever conclusion they come to should be, I think the conclusion that all the women, abide by, considering that all the women, the women are the ones that made this decision. But in all honesty, I think it should be up to a woman to choose, because there's a lot of situations in which, that may be a thing that has to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, that's about all I'm giving on my opinion about that, though. You know, because Urban Nerd Weekly, we ain't about all the political. You know, we about the entertainment. We about the we about nerding out. We about obsessing over nomenclatures of nostalgic past and all that good shit. We aren't a political show. However, I do feel like women should be allowed to choose because it's their choice, to begin with. I mean, I think that, that's the biggest thing with women is most of the time they don't feel like they really have a choice in much of anything. So why not give them choices over the shit that they should totally be the only ones that have an opinion about? And that's all on that. On to the next story in today's nerd news update. Kawhi Leonard is going up against the giant Nike over his claw logo. Now, if you guys are having trouble figuring out what I mean, I really hope I'm saying his name right, because I haven't watched ESPN enough to hear them say his name in order to pronounce it right. Which I don't know if y'all know. That's the only reason white people know how to pronounce our names is because they watch ESPN and the announcers say that shit on there like 30,000 times. So that's how they figure it out. Like, it's just like Kanye's name. You remember when Kanye West first came out and like everybody was calling him Kanye West because nobody knew how to fucking pronounce Kanye? Well, I think that's the same thing with this guy's name. So I'm going to call him Kahi. So, according to ESPN.com, and this article is written by Tim Bontemps, Toronto Raptors star Kawhi Leonard filed a lawsuit against Nike on Monday in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California in an attempt to reclaim control over a logo Leonard says he created. In 2011, just after being drafted to the National Basketball Association, aka the NBA, Kawhi Leonard authored a unique logo that includes elements that were meaningful and unique to him, the lawsuit reads. Leonard traced his notably large hands, and inside the hand drew stylized versions of his initials, KL, and the number that he had worn for much of his career, the number 2. The drawing Leonard authored was an extension and continuation of drawings he had been creating since early in his college career. Excuse me. 7 years later, as part of an endorsement deal with Nike, Leonard allowed Nike to use on certain merchandise the logo he created, while Leonard continued to use the logo on non-Nike goods. Unbeknownst to Leonard, and without his consent, Nike filed an application for copyright registration of his logo and falsely represented in the application that Nike had authored the logo. In layman's terms, Nike trying to steal his shit. A Nike spokesperson declined to comment. The lawsuit goes on to say that Leonard, who flew to California along with the Raptors on Monday afternoon ahead of the Game 3 of the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors, intends to use the claw logo in various capacities, including clothing lines, footwear, and in connection with sports camps and charity functions. But that Nike has objected to him doing so. So basically, they registered his logo to keep him from being able to use his own logo whenever the fuck he wanted to. Like, if you're really paying attention to what I'm saying right now, they don't have any intentions on owning his logo. They just trying to tie his ass up in court so he can't use his logo whenever the fuck he wants to. And that's some grimy shit. The lawsuit goes on to say that Leonard, who flew to California... Oh, wait, I'm sorry about that. Leonard, therefore, wants to regain control of the logo, which he created while he was part of the Jordan brand stable of athletes. Since then, though, Leonard became a shoe-free agent. Before eventually signing a deal with New Balance earlier this season, the Boston-based company has created multiple campaigns involving Leonard this season, one being Fun Guy and another more recently being King of the North, playing off a phrase from the recently concluded HBO series Game of Thrones. The 9-page lawsuit would, in theory, allow for a new campaign with New Balance Showtime sometime in the future, or at the very least would again give Leonard, should he win, control of a logo he says should be his, which it is fucking his. Like, who's denying that? Like, even I saw the paperwork earlier. They claimed that they created that shit. They did not. He made it. He had been using that since before he got with them. The lawsuit goes on to explain in detail how Leonard came up with the idea for the logo, which was developed at the start of his rookie season during his lockout shortened 2011-2012 campaign with the San Antonio Spurs. Leonard is known for his extremely large hands, the lawsuit reads. Throughout his career, spectators have noticed Leonard's large hands, and they are often described as contributing to his success as a player. Since at least his college years, Leonard contemplated and conceived of ideas for a personal logo, which would be unique to him and reflect something meaningful related to his own image. In late December 2011 or early January 2012, Leonard refined a logo he had been creating for several years that encompassed his large and powerful hands, his initials, and his jersey number. Leonard shared his original work of authorship with family and friends, solicited the advice and experts of a creative designer, received comments and suggestions, and made modifications to his design. Later in the lawsuit, it states Leonard and Nike have gone back and forth multiple times over the past several months regarding the use of the logo, with the last correspondence being in March when Nike told him it owns all intellectual property rights in the Leonard logo and demanding that Leonard immediately cease and desist from what Nike claimed was the unauthorized use of the Leonard logo. Finally, the lawsuit says that the goal of the plaintiff is for Leonard to be declared the sole author of the logo, that Leonard's use of his logo doesn't interfere with Nike's rights, including without limitations any rights Nike may claim to possess with respect to the Leonard logo, and that the defendant committed fraud on the Copyright Office in the registering the Leonard logo, along with any such other and further relief as this court deems just and proper. Leonard and the Raptors will face the Warriors in Game 3 of the finals at the Oakland Oracle Arena on Wednesday night. The series is tied at a game apiece. So, damn. ESPN tell you how long it's gonna take you to read that shit, and that's how long it took me to read that shit. So yeah, man. All in all, what's going on here is he created his own logo that he had been using for many things. And he's had multiple little drawings that he's used as, to represent him over the course of his career as a basketball player. Like, this is his thing. And then he did a deal with Nike, and they liked the logo so much, they falsely claimed to have created the logo to the Copyright Office of the United States of motherfucking America to pretend like they came up with the logo. Now, it seems like they probably just trying to steal the logo. But in all honesty, the fact that the paperwork came out and it shows that they are trying, and everybody had, he has all these personal testimonies of people who know that he's been in possession of this logo since long before his dealings with Nike. I don't think that they've ever planned to steal it. I think that they knew what they had when they attached their brand to Kawhi Leonard. They definitely wanted to lock him in, but they probably just didn't want to pay the man. They probably just didn't want to pay the man, so they did a deal where he could do whatever he wanted to, but they knew that logo was going to be the money shot. So what they did was try to register it with the Copyright Office before he did, knowing that eventually either he would try to or he would try to use his own logo somewhere, and then they could, try to claim ownership of it. Which, fortunately, it came up this early that they did this forgery, flogging ass bullshit. Or else it might have been a long time before anybody could remember just who had it first. But however, I think they did it just to, fuck them up. Like now, even though it's clear they stole it, technically on paperwork, at the current moment, they are the copyright holders. So until this shit is resolved in court, he still can't do anything with the logo. That's some grimy shit, Nike. I don't know what the fuck y'all got going on over there, but y'all need to fix this shit. Cause, y'all already used Colin Kaepernick last year to try to boost y'all shit when he was kneeling for police brutality and shit, which y'all totally fucking distorted the man's message about by doing it the way y'all did. Cause it wasn't mentioned in the entire fucking ad campaign. And now y'all on this shit. It seems like the least fucked up shit y'all did in the last decade was give LeBron James that sweet ass deal. I really hate for the nerdiverse to turn on y'all, Nike, but we gonna need y'all to get it together. All right, y'all can't just be fucking niggas over. We are y'all fucking employee and customer base, bitch. So get it together. On the other news, and when I say other news, I mean a nigga shit. Today in hip hop news, Jay-Z was named rap's first billionaire, and that is a conservative estimate of his assets as far as being a rapper. He's the first billionaire in rap. A lot of people think that a lot of people thought Diddy was gonna do it first. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of did too. And a lot of people think that Dr. Dre already did it. However, when he did his deal with Beats, he had to split the money with Jimmy Iovine and a ton of other partners with that deal. So as it goes, Dr. Dre didn't actually become a billionaire after the deal. He just got really, really close. He just got a lot closer to a billion than a good bit of other people were. So as of, today, June 4th, and it's been released as news that Jay-Z is the first billionaire rapper. In other rapper news, I should have said this shit about Drake first after the fucking Kawhi Leonard NBA shit, cause this goes kind of right in with the NBA shit, because as we know, Kawhi Leonard is a Toronto Raptor, and one of the Toronto Raptors' biggest fans is Aubrey Graham, aka Drizzy Drake Rogers. I don't remember if I talked about this already, but in case you didn't know, and in case I hadn't said anything, Drake has been fucking going apeshit all over the sidelines of the NBA Finals. Well, the fucking whole for a minute now. Like, even really before the finals got started. But, now that Toronto and Golden State are going head to head for NBA champs, he's really going in about this shit to the point where the NBA had to have like a whole conversation with the man about toning down his sideline antics. And for like a couple of days, they didn't have a game. And it seemed like he was probably going to do the shit, just calm down, don't be, doing all that extra shit on the sidelines, even though you are taking up a lot of camera time. And even though you probably are boosting the ratings of the fucking game, making sure that this shit is going to be on TV. All the shit talking and all the shit you're doing, man, you making us look bad, Holmes. I mean, damn, we let you in, gave you courtside seats, and now you gonna act a donkey in front of everybody, embarrassing your mama and shit. And I was just playing about that embarrassing his mama line. His mom probably is so fucking proud of him right now. If I was acting a donkey on the side of the NBA Finals right now, my mom would be cheering me on at the house fucking sidelines like, hell yeah, that's my baby fucking that game up. Well, on the other news, the last little piece of hip-hop nerd news today is Meek Mill gets a new hearing in Superior Court coming soon. Which, if you didn't know, he's going back to Superior Court so they could retry, in court for his original conviction, for what he was jammed up for that led him to being on probation, so that when he popped a wheelie, they could, put him back in jail for violating probation. It was some stupid shit. However, they are going back to the drawing board, and as far as court goes, to the original case that he was convicted for, to see if they could get it overturned, because from what I heard, it was some bullshit anyway, and it wasn't nothing that made any sense. So maybe he could get this shit off his record and get on with his life, man. So shout out to Meek Mill. Congratulations to him for that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was today's long ass nerd news update. I had to do it real big for the beginning of season 3. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all was well informed. There's a lot of shit going on this weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's the beginning of summer. Like, I don't know if I mentioned that, but January 1st was the meteorological beginning of summer. And as we know, it's going to be a minute. I think it's going to be like June 21st. When it's officially the summer solstice, is the beginning of summer. But as of right now, we are in the first days of summer, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the beginning of summer. And if you are from out of town and you are in town for the summer or for a couple weeks, or you visited family, I would like to give you an unofficial welcome to Thoughtlander. Please wear a condom every single where you go, because this shit out here is getting real. These hoes is out here everywhere, bruh. Please, please, please protect yourself. Have a good ass time this summer. You know what I'm saying? And while you're doing so, make sure you check out the show, man. Make sure y'all stay with us, man. Rock with us all the way through the summer, man. Season 3 is going to be jam-packed full of crazy shit. I'm doing iTunes card giveaway. giveaways. It was in Xbox Live giveaways, PlayStation Store giveaways, as well as a couple of other shits that I wrote down, but I forgot to put in front of my face for this episode. So make sure y'all tune in and nerd out all summer long, man. Make sure y'all tell everybody that y'all can about the show. We really finna turn up. Shout out to Nano Kitty, could not make this episode, but she will be heavy influence as of the beginning of season 3. She's helping with the research on the show. She's helping me spread the word out to all you guys even more. And we're going to even be involved in a couple of non-profit organizations for the furtherment of urban youth, as was one of the original missions of Urban Nerd Weekly. So I'm very excited about that, man. You guys make sure you tune in each and every week on Tuesday and Thursday. I'm trying to get better about getting the show out early in the morning and shit. I know I'll be giving y'all midday and nighttime episodes sometimes, but I'm trying to get better by bringing them to y'all in the daytime. So make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Like I said, we got giveaways coming soon. Plus, I got merch. I got Urban Nerd Weekly t-shirts getting ready to hit the digital shelf soon. And, you know, I'm not even gonna be like, when I first get them in, I'm not even selling them. I'm only giving them away to people who listen to Urban Nerd Weekly. So my dedicated listeners, y'all gonna be the first ones to get a sample of all of my merch for free before I put everything on sale. And y'all can tell me how y'all fuck with it and everything like that. And you can get everything for free as long as you listen to the show right now. So if you like free shit, tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe to Urban Nerd Weekly. Now, I gotta get out of here. My name is Space. And I was here, but now I'm